Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Show. We are going to dive deep into, the stories, strategies, and breakthrough and shape, ordinary leaders as we do normally. I'm Mireille Tulekima. You know me as the Greatness Engineer. And today we are honored to welcome a truly remarkable woman. Her name is Raz Patel. Rise is an author. She's a speaker, a health entrepreneur, a mental health advocate, actress, and the visionary behind the Raz Patel Show. And her life is a mission to guide individuals from a state of being frozen to becoming fearless. And by blending science, back with wellness practices, emotional intelligence, and the transformative power of storytelling. She is doing a remarkable job helping and empowering people. And having risen above paralysis and TIA, Rise has turned adversity into purpose. And with more than 2 decades of leadership across businesses, health, and media, she inspires people to break free from stress, burnout, and fear. And today we are going to spend some time just talking about legacy and what legacy it's all about. So it's really about how do we lead with emotional resilience, mental wellness and authenticity. And I hope you're gonna like this conversation today. Let us know where you're watching from. You can participate as well because this show is yours, and give us your insight or just ask some question to Raz, and she will be able to guide you through or for half an hour to 45 minutes. You let us know what's important to you. So don't go anywhere. Like I said, stay with us, and you will certainly learn so much from my guest today. So don't go anywhere. I'm bringing her now with us. To another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Mireille Tulekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily action.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone.
welcome to the Greatness Engineering Show, Raz, and welcome. We're so happy to have you today. And before we continue, I just want you to add to the short introduction that I did about you. Anything that I've missed that you think our listeners needs to know about you.
Oh, wow. That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you for having me, Muriel, on the Greatness Engineering Show. It's truly a pleasure, and I'm just grateful to be here. I think through our talk today, our audience will get to know a little bit more about my focus and my purpose, which is always about advocating the mental health. So, to me, that's the biggest takeaway. And I
Mhm.
really appreciate you for bringing this conversation to light.
Thank you for being with us. And today we actually going to focus a lot, obviously on emotional intelligence, but really the legacy, what legacy really means. And one of the questions that I have for you, what does legacy truly mean to you? And how has that definition actually evolved after what you've lived, you went through?
Right. And that's a great question. When we first think about legacy, we think about what we've left behind, right? And um, we think about your titles, your accomplishments, or the name on the plaque. It's achievement of some sort. But when I faced paralysis, and as I reflect in my adulthood, I realized legacy begins with how we think and we heal and how we make others feel in our presence at this moment, at this stage. See, legacy is continuously in motion. The thoughts we are always having, the words we are speaking, and how we utilize it, and the actions that we are performing each day, that's what outlives us. The greatest legacy we design is how we become when we are surviving, and how what instead of focusing on what's destroying us. And that's true legacy to me.
Right. And those are really strong words. The greatest legacy is what we become and how we survive. And you've went through a lot, and you are here to actually uh, tell us your testimony. And just need to know, you often say legacy begins in the mind. How can someone recognize when their thoughts are shaping a legacy that doesn't serve them?
Yeah, so when we are taking to take a step back, what happened was when I was paralyzed, and this is back in early stage, which a lot of my audience would know, is I was paralyzed in last year of my senior year of my high school. And at that time, you're too young to understand. But I realize now when I reflect in my adulthood that it's the thoughts that carried me through. And that's your biggest power that you have
Mhm.
is how we think. See, your thoughts can either heal you or harm you. They are instructions that you're consistently obeying to. So if you're giving negative thoughts consistently or focusing on that, what are you doing? You are always going to be rewiring your brain over and over and over again to produce something negative. And you're going to always
Mhm.
outwardly think on the negative thoughts because that's where your focus is. So when I was paralyzed, of course, just like anyone, I felt this was it. It's over. I am done.
Mhm.
My doctors and so forth had written me off, saying I'll never walk again and whatnot, and a few other things. So when you, as a child, are thinking there, you don't have the strength or wisdom to say, okay, what are you going to do? But while I lay there for months and months in bed, there were, of course, very traumatic thoughts that came to play,
Mhm.
as most all of us would, because you think your life is over as you know it. Um,
Mhm.
and then I started to shift my mind, right? So when you start shifting your mind and just actually focusing my brain signals started thinking about the good thoughts, the memories, my focus on schools, what made me happy without even realizing I'm doing this. That
Mhm.
I became more living in my mind because that's all I had. right? So every thought I was thinking, it was sending chemical messages. Positive ones were sort of replanting the negative ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if most of us, as we know, the dopamine and serotonin are our natural medicine that we focus on. So when I was paralyzed, I learned that healing is when begins with your thought. What you think will
Mm-hmm.
become at that deep
Mm-hmm.
cellular level, at the serotonin and dopamine level. So when
Mm-hmm.
life paralyzes you emotionally or mentally, you first have to rehab with your thoughts. That's it, because that's all you.
Mm-hmm.
And clarity begins when fear loses its voice. And I replace it
Mm-hmm.
with those positive thoughts. Um, See, when we think of emotions, because there was a lot of emotions that were, I'm done, it's over, I'm just going to end it. I'm sad, I'm depressed. All these bad emotions and negative emotions, rightfully so, right? I mean, you're going through so much tragic and so much trauma. Um, you you've When I started thinking what has helped me and what I carried through in my adulthood, which has shaped me from that 16-year-old mindset, is that
Mm-hmm.
I realized that your emotions are not, data of all these negative thoughts continuously playing in your mind. It's not the drama that you're continuously playing. I started labeling it instead of good or bad thoughts, like, oh, I'm done, it's over, I'm just going to end it, with saying, okay, what now?
Mm-hmm.
Powerful those two words, what now, can carry you through that. And as we talk today, I will go a little bit deeper in that. So what those bad thoughts, if you can replace it with the good thoughts, they become your teachers, your life
Mm-hmm.
teachers, the life lessons that you go through. See, resilience isn't about avoiding that pain. I felt upset. I felt angry. I felt sad. I felt depressed. But it's mastering how quickly we can return to that peace, that moment
Mm-hmm.
you are actually happy, that peace, that quiet in you. That's that positive thought in you. So when you name an emotion, your brain switches from survival to strategy. When I started thinking, okay, I'm angry, and I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to stop, and this is over, I started saying, I'm angry because I cannot move any longer. I'm angry because I no longer can dance. I'm angry because I can no longer walk. You see, you're putting those into thoughts because
Mm-hmm.
you're giving a reason behind that. So when the resilience isn't about just feeling the pain, it's mastering how quickly you return to your peace through the life lessons, through that moment in time when you had that peace. My peace was
Mm-hmm.
when I was walking, and I started providing a reason to my thoughts. So what
Mm-hmm.
we label our emotions. So that becomes our a real measure of resilience, or data per se.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
utilizing the word data, you utilize it in the sense of measure of resilience, because that's what it is. And at that moment in time, Muriel, I, I, even though I labeled my feelings and emotions, it was, it was a continuous thought process of just labeling the thoughts and my emotions with
Mm-hmm.
actions. So when I started thinking of those positive thoughts, oh, I'm walking again, and how I felt beautiful and alive and having the freedom, I actually started manifesting with
Wow.
the visions of me dancing. It wasn't even walking. I just wanted to dance. And that to me was a huge moment, that huge breakthrough of what I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And I slowly started, through rehab and so forth. Remember my first step, I couldn't even take the first step because of the neurons. It just wouldn't align. And I cried and cried. But I went back and I said, and I manifested again, because the manifested, and which I'll get back into it later, is I started visualizing how I took my first steps, how I started dancing, I started, just enjoying my life. And those 3 life lessons helped me so much in those next few months while I was in bed and learning how to walk again. So those are thoughts, emotions, and actions. When we align them, we can be our masters of our thoughts. So manifestation isn't just, for example, as I was saying, isn't just thinking, oh, I want to live happy, right? Or I want a beautiful house, or I want my kids to be happy, or whatever you're thinking. That's at a very high level. But when we match it with our energy and integrity to the micro level of manifestation, that's when it becomes powerful. So remember when I said I changed my thoughts from why me to what now? Something shifted in me. I started providing strategy and logic behind the manifestation and what I could do. And that manifestation became actionable because I was dancing and I was feeling happy and I was putting thoughts and emotions to what I was doing. And that becomes your powerful well-being in any struggles of survival mode. So when I started thinking, now fast forward to the Raz Patel Show, because through many opportunities that I've had, those triumphs and the challenges I've had, I began the Raz Patel Show sort of understanding that it's not that we live in perfection or we should live in perfection. It's more in understanding the alignment and courage, what we have within us. That 16-year-old taught me, you did it then, you can still do it now. Because we that innocence, but when we through in our adulthood, we lose that innocence because we have so much we're following and involved in that rat race that we forget our innocence. And that is so important. Go back to your childhood days and remember how easy it was for us to think, and always carry you through. So when your heart and mind agrees, the universe accelerates your journey. That's literally when I started shifting. And again, the Raz Patel Show is sort of that. In your mess, you become your powerhouse. And I'll go back to my the other thing that when it comes to emotions is your happiness. And I cannot stress how important it is to go and understand the meaning of happiness. When I was laying in bed for months and months, of course, I went through a lot of depression and sadness and trauma because that's all you know at that point in time. But remember, as I mentioned, when I started visualizing and putting thoughts into actions, the what now? And the what now became I'm wearing my dress, I'm on the stage, I'm dancing. So these are strategic layers, right? I became happy in my thoughts. And that's a powerful tool, Marielle, because you're not just thinking of just happy thoughts randomly. You're defining, you're giving it a discipline every night or every day because I had nothing better to do, obviously. I started thinking about those happy moments, the happy thoughts, and visualizing it and manifesting it. So, what does that mean? How do we become happy in our thoughts? Because many people want to say, oh, I want to be happy, or I want to be, you know, become so happy in my peace. I want to be manifesting happiness and have, $1 million so I can be happy. No, it's about small macro managing of your thoughts to make yourself happy. When we go to the gym, what are we doing? We are training. Yes. So we're training our body to be healthy and strong, right? It's our mental gym that we need to focus on. And how does that happen? Through gratitude, laughter, and purpose. When we combine those things, we give ourselves gratitude and ability to laugh and give ourselves a purpose, defining who we are we are happy. That's
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Yeah.
every time you choose joy, you strengthen that neural circuit of happiness, that, the serotonin, as I mentioned. So happiness is not what you find, it's what your daily practices. Remember that gym. That's
Mm-hmm.
mental strength you're providing to yourself. That daily practice, just think of it as the gym, and
Mm-hmm.
let
Mm-hmm.
life allow you to.
And then my question, I mean, when I listen to it, is, we definitely have all the tools to, to create our own life and to manifest what we want in our life, but we don't know it. We really don't know it. I mean, and that's the challenge. So for me, the question is, how can someone recognize when their thoughts are shaping a legacy that doesn't serve them, or when do they recognize that, whatever they think is not serving them?
Right, great question. So the way you know it's not serving them is actually defining who you really are, right? And there's a couple of tools that I'm going to address when it comes to reshaping your legacy and understanding that it's not working for you, it's working against you.
Mhm.
As I mentioned about the happiness, right? Because that is that, and manifestation. Those are your powerful thoughts consistently at play. And I'll keep bringing thoughts because the most powerful tool is your thought. That's where it all begins. It's your mind. So when we're defining legacy, Muriel, people
Mhm.
just think that it's over at a certain age, that we didn't have that ability to follow our dreams, our passion, right? We always have the ability because we define our age at a 30 or a 40 or 50 or 80 or whatever it is. But if you look at certain people, they have achieved so much at their 70s or 80-year-olds. So what makes them stand out to define them as having that legacy versus someone else? It's your belief system, right? When
Mhm.
you think with curiosity, when you think with compassion and empathy and with purpose, your body mirrors that vitality. It's saying, "Oh wow, I have this livelihood now, this energy from somewhere, and I can live the moment." You no longer think, your life is over, you're too old,
Mhm.
you're not following your dreams, it's too late, because that's again those negative thoughts that are playing into motion. We need to reconvert those thoughts. So stop saying I'm too old and stop saying I'm too late, and reclaim your thoughts through purpose,
Mhm.
because legacy has no expiration date. It doesn't. So when we think of the legacy, as you mentioned, it's through the other powerful tool I would say is your connection. You and I are connected, right?
Mhm.
And we are providing this platform through our talk on giving people an empowerment and inspiring them to carry through it. Would have happened if we had not had the opportunity to talk?
Mhm.
And we had kept these beliefs, this ideology within ourselves while we are increasing our legacy. We're not giving an outlet. We're not giving a purpose to help others, because you're helping others to heal themselves through your show, right? I'm
Mhm.
helping others through my connectivity to and through my show as well. So what does that mean? Healing multiplies when we share information,
Mhm.
right? And through connectivity. Success means nothing if it doesn't help someone else to rise. So stop being selfish. So we are not here to impress others through all the flashy ways or the talks and so forth. We are here to create an impact, and that is
Mhm.
legacy, right? Muriel, you're creating an impact every day through your talks by bringing powerful
Mhm.
people and who are vulnerable. That is legacy. So shine your light and be the brightest person through helping others see their light. I think that
Mhm.
is a powerful moment. So when we think about connectivity and thoughts and emotions, what are we doing? We are just rebuilding our thoughts of legacy, of creating our super being. That's what's going to help us. So when we think about our thoughts, and the next stage would be our emotions, because remember, as I said, your emotions, your thoughts, and your actions are what forms us.
Chance.
Right. So emotions are not random, Muriel. They are chemical signals that shape our thoughts. When you think of something empowering your brain, it releases these cocktails of chemicals that helps you to feel strong, focused, and alive.
Mhm.
As I mentioned about the serotonin, right? As we know, is our happy mood. It gives us the peace,
Mhm.
calm when we are going through this trauma and the tragedy, the storm, for example. And the dopamine, and most of you might know, and those who don't, is that motivation, that focus that you're giving through your progress, because you're defining that moment. And I will go through a few more of the chemical signals. One is the endorphins that releases, right? It's that relief and lightness through laughter, courage. What are you doing? It's an action, right?
Mhm.
You're laughing, you're making yourself happy. So when you laugh, you're just at peace and at calm because you have relieved all the stress. That's endorphins. And your connectivity, the way you and I are connected and releasing such positive vibes, that's oxytocin. So
Mhm.
increase that every day in your life. And, one of the things that I have noticed many people ask me is the flight response. When
Mhm.
that cortisol that is released, it's actually helpful for you. The brain signals, the alarm in your brain, that's signaling something is wrong, that red alert that you're feeling. It's just actually helping you to understand something is misaligned. And when you pause and say, all right, what is misaligned? What can I do right now? That's the best way to form yourself enduring the forms of stress, so it doesn't become the villain. When cortisol becomes a villain, or when stress takes over, is when you consistently repeat that stress and you live with it on a daily basis. That's when you're nearing the stress mode and you are actually creating harm to your body.
Mhm.
And when you create harm
Mhm.
to your
Mhm.
body, that's when you stop giving yourself the happy moments, the emotions, the feelings, and the action to be your level best. And then eventually, you are stopping your legacy. So, what does that all mean? The cortisol is not your villain, it's the alarm. So, use it wisely. But when you let that alarm run too long, it drowns out the music and that peace in you. So,
Mhm.
help it to help you. So, these chemicals, as I mentioned, are your inner architects, your legacy. That's your defining moment. And when you align your thoughts with gratitude, curiosity, and courage, your body mirrors what you are becoming. You're becoming this
Mhm.
balanced self, which is helping you again to develop and define your legacy. As I've mentioned in a lot of my speeches and so forth, and many can Google this, I guess, is that you have thoughts consistently running on a daily basis, Muriel, right? I mean, if you Google,
Mhm.
I think there was anywhere between 6,000 to 50,000 thoughts each day that runs in your mind. But what
The-
happens, right, Muriel, if you're consistently reflecting in your past? What's happening?
See, exact.
Yeah,
You live in the past.
you're living in the past. And what happens if you those thoughts are always trauma, or you're reflecting on the what if, what I should have done, what I could have done, what could have happened, and this. What are you doing to your brain signals?
Yeah, yeah.
You're putting
You
all these
basically
thoughts.
all this negativity, and the body will be affected at some point, definitely.
Exactly. So when you're putting these 6,000 to 50,000 thoughts all ever on a daily basis with these negative reflections of your past, what are you doing? You're living in the past, in your
Mhm.
stress, right? You're not moving forward. And when you don't move forward, what are you doing? You're frozen.
Mm-hmm.
right? So, what do you do? How do you overcome those daily negative thoughts or reflecting in the past?
Mm-hmm.
You're when you're repeating those negative thoughts, it becomes part of your being. That becomes your new defining moment of legacy. And as most people know, if you stop training yourself to think in the past and just for even 10% of those thoughts become your positive thoughts, what are you doing? You
Growing.
sh- you're shifting your moment,
15 moment. Yeah.
right? So when you shift your moment and just with 10% on a daily basis of including your positive thoughts with gratitude, vision, and purpose, you're rewiring your brain to think
Mm-hmm.
through resilience and joy. And joy is what? Another way of saying you're happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
gives you that powerful moment saying, I can do this instead of saying I can't. I should have done this instead of saying that I am doing this. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm, 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 mhm.
So
So
every
I just wanted to come in here. Why do you think people are sabotaging themselves? I mean, is it a problem of awareness? Is it a problem of environment? What is the reason, and how do you address it in your work?
oh, such a powerful question. It's actually pretty much everything that is the environment, as we mentioned about the connectivity. The right people in your environment plays a powerful tool, Muriel. You and I are, producing positive vibes here, right? We're choosing to align with purpose and the connection that we're doing. What if I had come on your talk and I just focused on these negative thoughts and how it's drowning me and you don't want to be part of this? What are you doing? You're reflecting on just sorrows. Is that really helping? No.
No.
So
Mm,
connection through positivity is so important. And if you can channel that with the people you're surrounded by on your daily basis, that's the environment you're in. And that plays a
mhm,
huge, powerful role in shaping your legacy, right? So if you can do that along with your thoughts, beliefs, actions, your feelings, connectivity can play a huge, powerful role in you. So, yes, I agree. Your environment has a huge factor. I was,
mhm,
for
mhm,
example, when I started walking again, I became actually more happy because I let a lot of things go.
mhm,
I felt a sense of freedom. I was lost at a certain point because I mean, I from whatever we won't get into this show because that could be in the next show. Is more of when I said stop sabotaging your thoughts that you're not worthy, that you are. This is all you're capable of. That those thoughts I let go of became my powerful moment. I became free. And that freedom is your choice. And you have that choice no matter what people say to you. That so stop self-sabotaging because your worth is extremely important to live through your legacy and to rebuild your legacy. I shifted into those happy thoughts and saying, I am worthy.
mhm,
When started saying, I am worthy and I am capable,
mhm,
I started seeing things in a different light, Muriel. And that's what I live my purpose every day, every moment. Because the moment you start saying, I am worthy, you become your own applause.
mhm,
When you
mhm,
start smiling, it's your resilience speaking. When you laugh through your pain, you're moving the needle to your purpose. And when you spark light into others, you're actually building a true legacy because you are leaving people happy. you're creating that impact. So your mind is your architect, your emotions are your compass. And being vulnerable, right? Being authentic to yourself and to others is what's going to help you to define your legacy, your beautiful moment. So design it consciously, because someone's healing depends on your courage. I do it through my talk show. You do it through your talk show. And we're living on a daily moment by helping others heal. To me, that's the most beautiful purpose you can have in terms of creating your legacy.
And that's powerful, Raz, what you've just said. But we live in a world which, where there's a lot of distraction. It's sometimes very difficult to focus on, what we have inside and on the fault. So how can people stay conscious, of their faults, in a world full of distraction? And I mean, it's all over the place. It's the internet. It's, even where you live, it's a family. So how do you manage that and still be focused and conscious of your thoughts?
Yeah. So as I mentioned to a lot of even just even students and so forth, is that build it on the micro level, right? You have a lot of outside noise consistently bombarding you. The internet, it plays on your image. Oh God, this one is so good. How did they get to this level? I will never be this beautiful, or I can never be at this level. What am I doing to myself? Those are the internet and all these things that are playing, and half of them are fake because they're just showing you what they want to show you, right? So I personally think, just filter those out. But the way you do that is at the micro levels. Say, okay, who am I? Who am I trying to be? What do I want to be recognized as? So to do that, write it down, journal. And then through journaling, you find your purpose. You find your goals being defined every day. So when I go, for example, when I'm really stressed, I just take my dog for a walk and I start thinking, I'm like, okay, what is it that's creating this stress now? What is this pain? And then when I say the what, instead of why am I going through this, I'm giving goals, the micro goals, right? I'm breaking it down. How do I get to this? How do I stop stressing? What can I lay out my plan and strategy at the micro level? Not the high over issue of like, my God, my world is collapsing and I'm never going to get to this point, because my goal was to meet this deadline in 2 months. And now here it is in 1 week and I still haven't found an outlet. So stop and just break it down. Right. Okay. What can I do now? How can I help myself to re-strategize? That is giving yourself the powerful tool. And while you're filtering out all that noise that's bombarding you, and you just have to say, that's noise. Stop. Right? Because remember, again, don't live in the past.
Past, yeah.
Focus on your present and start redefining. You have the tool. You're always redefining. You're always reliving your moment because the life is not over. Life is over when you say it's over. And I talk a lot about anti-aging and this and that and living. When you start thinking life is not over, it has just begun, you find a new form of outlet. You become alive. And when you feel that energy from within, your youth exists. Right? And you stop aging so fast. That's why a lot of people say, oh my God, this one looks XYZ old, or this one has aged quickly, and so forth. I truly believe in what I have seen, even through myself, because in my 30s, if you look at my previous pictures, I was so stressed and I was going through a lot of health issues. Right? And the TIA. So not saying weight is the moment, but because of me, what I have, my personal health issues, I gained 60 pounds.
Wow.
And I told myself it's over. You know, my face was big, this and that, everything was big, and I could not walk. And I just said, more than my paralysis, that was where I said, it's over. And I gave up on myself. But the what came. What do I do now? And when I broke it down, Muriel, and I said, okay, I'm going to focus on my health, because no longer am I going to let stress define me, because that has created all this. Stress is the biggest backbone, and how we manage our stress through grounding, journaling, and so forth. I decided I'm going to become a nutritionist and help others, because they no longer should go through whatever I went through. I am going to focus on mental health, because I no longer will allow others to go through, as long as I'm surrounded by and they're around me. Again, it's that connectivity. I will focus on those strategies, because I'm helping myself, and I started seeing myself become more alive, Muriel. At this
See
deep
the change of energy.
Yes. And I personally think I'm more alive today than in my 30s, just because I think more on a positive side. Of course, there are moments where I go, my God, and I'm crying out there. Okay, I've done my crying, whatever, get over it and just move forward now. You're done, right? So it's understanding how to pick yourself up, how to bounce back up. Does that help?
Fantastic. This is so powerful, very, very powerful. We're going to have a break and come back to, just for, the last part, because there's so much. And obviously, for those watching, I hope you're taking notes, and hopefully you will connect with Raz after the show, because there's so much more that she can share and she can help with. We will not be able to talk about everything here, but let's have a break, and we will come back to talk about what are really the recommendation and the advice that she can give us as far as legacy is concerned. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few minutes.
Predominantly, what I'm doing is obviously keeping all toxicity out of my life, surrounding myself with amazing, like-minded people.
Yes.
I'm living like it's my last day. And obviously, I'm searching for a cure. I'm looking at stem cell and different things. But I get up every day and I push forward, and I'm going to continue to coach people.
Yeah.
And keep my voice. And
are you doing fashion as well? Fashion designing, or?
I halted the company.
Okay.
And it's interesting because people always do ask me, what designer am I wearing? I mean, I've been to a lot of celebrity events, and I went to Burlington one day, and there was a size 2 gown, and I looked at it, and I'm a visionary, and I went, oh, that's going to fit me. And I went to this event in California, and everybody thought it was Versace.
Wow.
I'm like, it was $125.
Yeah, there you go.
But because I worry about my health, and I'm very conscious about budget, and I dress like I'm wearing Chanel.
But you should. You should always be on top of what you do. But it's not about whether you paid $5 or $500 or $5,000.
No.
It's how you carry it.
Wherever you're stuck in your life, let's get you unstuck.
Beautiful.
And that's really the bottom line
And
to it.
I am so rooting for you for that production.
So we are back. We are back with Raz, and you could see, during the commercial, an extract of your show, the Raz Patel Show, and where you've had the opportunity to meet so many people, and we were talking about that before the show, being where we actually get some inspiration, and also I was talking more about, being a university for me, just, meeting those incredible guests. So one question that I have for you as we finish our conversation here is, what advice will you give to someone who feels their life legacy has already been written, and how can people start designing their legacy consciously today, especially today where we see people completely disorganized and really feeling vulnerable, and we have the mental health issue growing. So what do you recommend at this stage?
Yeah, so and thank you for that question. I think that's a great lead into just signing off with this, is that everything I've said, it's all about your life is not finished, right? Your legacy is
Mhm.
continuously evolving. Every day you have the power to rewrite your story. One new decision can change the entire narrative of what you're doing. So start with intention. Live every day with intention and your powerful thought, one action, one connection that aligns with the future you want to leave behind. Legacy begins with awareness, not perfection. We're always following this what is perfect in our mind. And no, is being aware of who you want to be by taking an action, you connecting with the right people, and your thoughts. All these things are aligning to shape your next future. If
Mhm.
if I could leave one message behind, as you mentioned, is that design your life consciously, right? Because someone's healing, courage, or purpose may depend on your example. Live every day in the present with a present positive thought. Thank you.
Fantastic. So design your life consciously and live every day. I would actually add to the fullest, because you don't know if it's your last day or not. So you
Yes.
really want to make sure you enjoy and you don't actually live in the past. And that's the most important thing. So fantastic. Thank you so much, Raz, for this wisdom that you brought today to our platform. And I hope, whoever is watching or whoever is going to watch the show, the replay, please, connect with us if you want to know more, and, learn from Raz, and have more information on legacy, how to design your legacy, and, based on emotional intelligence and your wellness as well. She went through it, and now she's sharing, because she talked about sharing our story to be able to help, and to help others to heal. So how do people connect with you if they want to continue this conversation?
Yes, and thank you. Thank you for having me once again, Muriel. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and to continue, and then maybe next time bring you on my show. So that this is great. Continue our legacy here. In order for folks to reach out to me, of course, you can go to YouTube at the Raz Patel Show, literally how it's written. And or if you want to email me, again, it's just the Raz Patel Show at gmail.com. And follow me on Instagram, Raz Patel Official. Those are the perfect ways to reach out. And I am always going to be able to respond to you, DM you. It might take me a few hours, but I promise I'll respond to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I mean, the most important thing is to get back to them. We know you're busy and you are enjoying, and you don't have to spend all your time, on the internet or on,
Yeah.
online. because you need to enjoy, like you said, you need to get somewhere where you can, start to structure your thoughts, because those are the powerful things that, that lead your life and help you to create your legacy. So thank you for everyone watching, and do, like I said, do connect with Raz. If you want to know more about her work, her story, and especially about, designing your legacy, using different tools, based on, wellness, based on emotional intelligence, and other, strategy that she will be able to share with you. So thank you very much. We will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show tomorrow. We're going to India, and we're going to have a young designer, designer in the sense of, in the fashion industry, not designing life like, what we focused on today, but it's another form of design. And we will be, talking about how you start, building your career as a young, artist, and as a young designer, and the different challenges that you might face and how to handle them. So thank you very much again, and I hope you did enjoy the conversation. And it's not like in Las Vegas; it doesn't stay here. You have to share the information that you got today. Share, because that's really important, and it will help you to go to the next level of your greatness. So thank you very much for everything, and I see you tomorrow.